Hello and welcome back to our series Beyond the Screen, where we like to share different perspectives from our market, whether it's through our partners, Samsung and Ergonomics, learning all about insights in the field of digital signage. So this week I've kindly been invited on to share my experience and my views throughout my role, where I'm speaking with people in the industry and hopefully provide some valuable insights for you. Yeah, so my name's Adam. I'm one of the members of the business development team here at Trust. And in a nutshell, my role is to speak on the phones daily with retailers, often it's directors and C-suite level, whether it's marketing, property, store design, or IT, and effectively understand where they are on their digital transformation journey in general, but specifically with the use of signage. And just get to know what their plans are, because every company is on a slightly different path, and then support them along this route and open their eyes to what's possible, what they might not have thought about, and ultimately just help them get the best return on investment. So why signage? Okay, good question. It kind of depends on the business and the industry. I mean, there's a huge amount of benefits that comes with digital, whether it's just cutting down on print and being more dynamic with getting marketing out. But I think the specific benefits of being able to get more dynamic marketing content really depends on the business. So for some, they're trying to improve their brand awareness. So it's just about having, videography that they may already use online. So then when people are walking by, they have a better feel for the brand. For others, it's specifically about pushing promotions, which is what you see more in the grocery and convenience. So it's about driving basket spend. So there's a huge multitude of benefits, but yeah, ultimately the why depends on the specific industry and what that business is trying to achieve. Right, okay, so the question is, what does digital signage unlock? So there's two parts to the question, really, the benefits and why signage. On a simple level is what you're moving away from, so the comparison against print media. So you're saving the cost, the time it takes to distribute and deliver posters, the number of times they often don't end up in the windows and they get stuck in storerooms. So that's what you're moving away from, but I think what it actually unlocks is far greater in terms of the possibilities. So whether it's trying to get more people to sign up to a loyalty scheme, whether it's trying to encourage repeat custom with dynamic content as the last thing people see as they leave a shop, whether it's unlocking retail media networks, so these lucrative revenue opportunities, or just driving that more efficient, more enjoyable customer experience that I think is crucial for retailers in their physical stores nowadays. Yeah, so common problems. There's probably three common things I hear from the people I'm speaking with when they're often looking into digital signage. One, and probably the most common, is the cost. I think everyone's aware it's not a cheap solution, especially if it's something that's done right. And there's quite a few retailers who have looked into it and haven't gotten over that last hurdle of being able to actually justify the spend. And I think it comes down to effectively just building a good business case for it. A lot of people I'll speak to when I ask them, what are they looking into? How are they trying to justify it? It's like what I mentioned before, they might just be comparing it against print spend, which in some cases is still a worthwhile investment after, 3 or 4 years, the technology pays itself off. But what a lot of people are missing out again are those extra benefits on, well, what basket spend can we actually drive? How we can use it to get more people into the store? How's that going to affect, the company's revenue? And it was an area that we're helping people out with. We have an ROI calculator where we like to take all these other factors into consideration, and helping people get over that final line of justifying the cost. So that's one problem. The second problem, I think, is content as well. It's not uncommon to speak to people to say they know they want to use digital signage. It's the way, it's the way that the market is going now. It's technology they like the look of. But they're not really taking advantage when it comes to content. It might be that they don't really have the in-house facilities for it. It might be that they're just used to creating media for static. And when you have something as powerful as digital signage, where you can create more dynamic animations and videos, just using it for static content, you're missing a big trick here. And you can walk down the high street and you can see a lot of companies that are using it just pretty plain, so they're missing out on a key loop. So cost, content, and then I think the third one is when there are companies that try to take the solution entirely in-house as well, which in some cases can work if they have those capabilities. But there's been numerous occasions where they've tried to do something. Normally it's a little bit to be more cost efficient as well, provided the screens try to have their own kind of in-house content team and the content management, and often it's just blurred lines of responsibilities. So digital signage is one of those technologies that can lie in marketing, property, IT. There are a lot of fingers in the pie effectively. And I think if people try to take it all in-house and they don't have a clear plan, it's where you have issues where screens start going wrong and people don't know about it. They're having to rely on store colleagues, for example, to call them up and say, the screen's not working, we need to get it back online, but they're busy serving customers. So I think having a solid end-to-end provider and partner just helps to make that whole process a lot more seamless, and I think is why a lot more people are moving away from trying to do something themselves. Where to start? Good question. I think it's crucial to almost take a step back sometimes. I think a lot of retailers, they can get excited again about bringing new technologies into the store. And there's been a few people I've spoken to where if I've asked a simple question on what are they trying to achieve and how is it something that can be measurable, it can often stump quite a few people. So where to start again? So you need to come up with a clear strategy. Quite often with this is something that you trial out in a few stores before doing a full-scale rollout. So in order to prove whether it's working, you need to understand what you're trying to achieve, how can you measure it, and then how can you replicate that on a larger scale. So for some companies, it's about getting more people in the door. For most of the high street brands, they're competing against all their, the neighboring shops to try and steal the foot traffic. So that's the situation where you think, right, so the screen locations, where are we going to put them to maximize footfall? Window, front of store location makes the most sense. How is the content then going to be suitable to drive this? Is it going to be more brand awareness content, so just exciting videos, or maybe promotions and offers to again get people to want to come inside? And then how are you going to measure it? Most shops nowadays, they have footfall counters which you can collect data from, but there's a lot more kind of exciting and intricate ways of doing so, whether it's through smart cameras, for example. That's one example. Other people, they might be trying to increase sales of particular items and maybe higher margin items. So again, the location needs to be considered. How are we going to measure it? Whether it's linking to your POS or doing manual tracking. So you work backwards, right? You figure out what you're trying to achieve. Where are we then going to place the screens to maximize attention and eyes on the screens? Content, again, crucial factor. A lot of people overlook the content side of things, and it's probably the most important. There's no point having a screen if the content on isn't dynamic, isn't capturing, and it's not got a clear call to action. And then how are we going to measure that? Once you've got those, it's a case of trialing it, see if it works, and then you can expand. And the beauty of things with digital signage, especially on the content side, is you've got that ability to fail fast. You could try something out. If it's not working, put some new content on, within half an hour and try something else. So it's given marketing teams, especially, a lot of kind of control and power over their campaigns.
And then on the back of that, where do people start with actually drafting their digital strategy? So understanding the customer itself, understanding the customer needs, how are the customers going to benefit from your content to relate it back to the actual customer? Yeah.
So in terms of starting, I think firstly the business needs to understand the long-term goals as well. You see a lot of companies now are looking to maybe take a shift in their market, maybe change their brand perception. So you need to keep that in mind, and then understanding the customer is absolutely crucial. It's understanding the customer journey, how people like to shop, whether they go directly to items they like or whether they take more of a browse. And then again, you can tailor the locations and the content based on that customer. Some people prefer more interactive approaches. Maybe people like to touch and feel products. Maybe there are brands where people like to get more information. There are a lot of, say, organic and wholesale companies where people like to know a lot more information before they buy. So interactive products such as a lift and learn is a great way to engage with those customers and then help them with their buying journey. So what are companies missing out on without signage? So it kind of reverts back to the answer to the previous question. Again, I'd almost answer in two parts. There you have the current benefits of digital signage, which is not only moving away from print, being more dynamic, and then the benefits that come with it, again, whether it's loyalty schemes, driving footfall, increasing basket size. But I think it's not just now, it's also what the future holds. So a lot of people view digital signage as just the hardware. It's just like a screen on a wall that is doing a job for now. But it's really a lot more than that. It's about the strategies that it can enable going forward. It's about the opportunities it opens up. And it's the software that's ever evolving, that the screen itself is just a means of portraying the content. So for example, we have a lot of conversations in the food to go sector. And not only do you have benefits of being able to put your content scheduling and your day parting, as it's called. So one advert in the morning, something different in the afternoon when you're selling different items. But it's also the benefits that are now coming about, such as linking to your point of sale. So you have the ability to do something called live pricing. So as you're nearing towards the end of the morning and the afternoon, if companies have a lot of stock that they need to shift quickly and they want to reduce the price on their EPOS, it automatically links to with their digital boards, so that customers know it's going to help them sell a lot more near the end of these shifts and reduce their stock waste. Other examples, we've spoken about it before with the potential kind of revolution with AI, with the use of screens. So how avatars can be used to help provide that customer service, that knowledge base to customers who might not have access to a staff member at the time. There's a lot of retailers where they might only have a few store members, and if they're busy, whether it's stocking shelves or working with other customers, and someone wants to know where something is, they can interact with the screen and again just have a more seamless and relevant shopping experience. And every year there's new technologies coming out, so not having the means to take advantage of them, I think, could be quite costly to a lot of retailers. Okay, so in my opinion, the way I kind of see things, and from some of the conversations I had, I think in general in the future, I think there's going to be a shift back to the physical store environment in general with retail. Over the last 10, 15 years, e-commerce is absolutely taken over, and there's a lot of companies that are purely on e-commerce and don't have those physical stores because of all the benefits that come with it. But I think nowadays, in a kind of market where attention is quite crucial for companies and customers do have shorter attention spans, it's harder to get their attention. I think the physical store environment and the experience it can provide is really going to set companies apart. And I think it's prevalent as to why a lot of companies are still investing into their store estate and their store expansion. So what's crucial, I think, for retailers is how they can get that right. So obviously there are a lot of costs that come with the physical store. So it needs to be something that's either cost efficient or is actually going to drive significant revenue. Technologies like digital signage, among others, whether it's guest Wi-Fi to help provide a more enjoyable experience, or stock management solutions. There's a lot of different areas that people can take advantage of. In general, with signage, I think with the future, retail media is massive, and I think it's pretty common now. A lot of people are seeing that take over. Initially with the larger supermarkets, so Tesco have their own retail media network. Other companies like Superdrug are taking advantage of it. And you're seeing it a lot more in the hospitality sector as well. So digital signage in that aspect helps provide this connected loop, as we call it, where you can not only put advertising out, but you can link it with your point of sale. and your ERP system, so you can actually prove, the result. You can prove that closed loop feedback. In other areas, I think with stores as well, there's one limit where it comes to sometimes not having enough space for stock. How many times have we been shopping and we've found a product and we've asked someone to go and see if they've got it in stock and they haven't, and you get that that frustration, and you have to go through the experience again. There are a lot of means now where, with digital signage, for example, you could provide an interactive means where if they haven't got it in stock, you can now go and place an order online. Maybe it gets delivered to the store, maybe it gets delivered straight to home. So you're helping to completely transform that customer experience that could have gone downhill, and instead you're able to make them feel satisfied. They've got what they want. They're more likely going to come back, and the customer makes the sale. So yeah, I think in general with the future is a case of how a customer's going to use, how a company's going to use more technology in their stores to improve their experience, help drive more sales, and cut their bottom line costs as well. Sure. So to summarize, it's obviously a slightly biased opinion, but I can clearly see the benefits of digital signage. But I think it's obvious with the direction the market is going now that the benefits are there. It's the direction that most people are going on. I don't think we're at that stage now where it's a case of digital signage versus print. I think it's more a case of, for us, how are we going to build a strategy for digital signage? What's relevant for us as a business and our strategic goals, and how are we going to get most out of the investment? Which is an area that a lot of people I think they're looking into, but they're struggling with as well. Which is one of the reasons we created this blueprint for success, which I think is going to be linked in the video as well, which is what we've developed from having these conversations and working with people. We don't provide a one size fits all. It's a case of understanding and helping you understand what it is you're trying to achieve. Like I mentioned before, how can you measure it? How can you then create the right solution for it, and then ensure that's a seamless rollout going forward. Myself personally, like I said, I'm always speaking with people on a daily basis, and I like to share some of the insights about what people are looking into, what they're trying to achieve, what are the challenges they're facing. So I've got this mini series on LinkedIn where I'll do short, 1 minute, 2 minute clips, really for those who are looking into it at the moment and just want a better understanding of the market, because there can be a lot of information out there that can be confusing. And it's just honing down on what's relevant and specific. But I think it's going to be an ever-growing market and something that's going to be changing constantly as well.